Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. Grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's jump right in. Today we're diving into something that literally affects every single one of us: the invisible, shocking costs of wasting time, and the actual math behind how it drains our days. We all talk about money and productivity all the time, right? But time touches every single one of us in the exact same way, yet almost nobody thinks about its true price tag. By the end of this, I promise you're going to look at your daily routine in a completely different light. Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll start with the reality of finite time, calculate the math of wasted hours, explore the true cost of inaction, look at the digital attention economy, and finally, focus on how to actually reclaim your precious time. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the reality of finite time. To really grasp this, we have to start with this baseline truth. Time is the universe's only strictly scarce, non-renewable resource. Sure, Einstein's theory of relativity tells us time is flexible out in space. It speeds up and slows down based on gravity and speed. But for us, right here on Earth, it flows in one direction only. And there is a brutal equality to this. Every single person gets exactly 86,400 seconds a day. A billionaire and a homeless person get the exact same allocation. And once a single second ticks by, it's gone permanently. You can't save it in a bank, and you absolutely cannot borrow tomorrow's hours. So, if time is that precious, why on earth do we throw it away so easily? Well, it turns out our brains evolved over hundreds of thousands of years to survive in the moment, not to plan for a decade from now. We suffer from something called hyperbolic discounting. Basically, if I offered you 10,000 rupees today or 20,000 rupees in a year, your brain's limbic system aggressively pushes you toward the instant reward, completely overriding your logical prefrontal cortex. That's exactly why wasting an hour scrolling feels totally harmless right now. The cost is delayed and invisible, but man, that dopamine hit is immediate. Moving on to section 2, the math of wasted hours. When we translate those abstract hours into concrete math, it is genuinely eye-opening. Think about a seemingly harmless 4 to 5 hours of passive daily scrolling, which, by the way, global digital well-being studies show is totally average. It eats up a massive chunk of our finite 24-hour day. Let's do the math on that. 4 hours a day times 365 days is 1,460 hours a year. To put that in perspective, that is roughly 60 full, sleepless, 24-hour days every single year. Gone. Just vanished into thin air. And when we calculate those lifetime costs over a 60-year adult lifespan, the numbers are a literal gut punch. That average smartphone usage, it consumes roughly 36 full 40-hour-a-week working years. Just imagine an entire career spent swiping with your thumb. But hey, it's not just phones. Studies show 85% of what we worry about never even happens. Yet spending just 1 hour of overthinking daily steals 912 full days over your life. Oh, and those unnecessary work meetings? 5 useless hours a week robs you of 433 days of your life. And we absolutely can't forget the illusion of multitasking. Cognitive psychology has proven time and again that the human brain just cannot do 2 complex tasks at once. It just rapidly switches between them, incurring a heavy switching cost. Even tiny task switching costs from multitasking and the decision fatigue they cause add up incredibly fast. Just 10 interruptions a day results in an invisible drain of over 300 lost hours every single year. Let's shift gears to section 3, the true cost of inaction. Let's break down how these lost hours actually hit your wallet, your body, and your mind. Starting with cold hard cash, I highly encourage you to calculate your personal hourly rate. Just take your annual income and divide it by your productive hours. Let's say you figure out your time is worth 300 rupees an hour. Suddenly, 2 hours of mindless scrolling isn't just killing time. It is physically costing you 600 rupees in direct opportunity cost that day alone. Once you attach a financial metric to it, the problem becomes painfully visible. But the toll goes way beyond money. We face severe biological costs too. Take the active couch potato risk, for example. Medical research shows that even if you work out for 30 minutes, sitting for 10 hours binge watching still drastically increases your cardiovascular risks. Then there's dopamine desensitization from all that short-form content. It literally rewires your brain to find a normal, everyday life totally boring. The blue light suppresses your melatonin, ruining your sleep. And psychologically, it creates what researchers call existential drift. It's that nagging background anxiety and guilt. Because deep down, you know you aren't living in alignment with your true potential. You know, time acts exactly like compound interest in investing. Just 1 hour of daily learning compounds exponentially into mastery, better networking, and higher income over a 5-year period. On the flip side, an hour of negative compounding, like your daily scrolling, permanently delays your skill acquisition. It actually forces you into a permanently lower life trajectory compared to the alternate version of yourself who used that exact same hour productively. Which brings us to section 4, the digital attention economy. Now, if you're feeling overwhelmed or a bit guilty right now, take a deep breath, because this isn't a personal willpower failure. We are fighting a massively asymmetric war here. Teams of brilliant engineers and data scientists are deliberately using behavioral psychology to capture your attention, simply because your attention equals their ad revenue. They use things called variable reward schedules. Believe it or not, this is the exact same psychological mechanism used in casino slot machines. The unpredictability of infinite scrolls and notifications creates incredibly sticky habits. You aren't just easily distracted. You are actively fighting highly optimized systems designed specifically to bypass your logical brain. But history shows us a powerful alternative. Highly accomplished figures have always fiercely protected their hours. Benjamin Franklin, for instance, anchored his life with 2 simple daily reflections. He forced himself to consciously evaluate his time rather than just letting it drift by. And Charles Darwin? He structured his days with rigid time blocks for what Stanford researchers today call deep work, that uninterrupted, highly focused cognitive output. Sure, they didn't have smartphones to fight off, but they fundamentally understood the absolute necessity of intentionality. All right, let's look at some solutions in Section 5, Reclaiming Your Precious Time. Let's dive into some practical, science-backed ways to actually get your time back. And no, we're not talking about falling into toxic hustle culture or pretending you're a robot who never needs rest. Look, willpower is a depletable resource. You run out of it. So instead of relying on it, behavioral economists suggest choice architecture. Basically, change your environment to make good choices easy. Turn off non-essential notifications to kill context switching. Physically put your phone in another room during deep work. And try using if-then implementation intentions. Instead of a vague goal like, I'll scroll less, set a hard rule. If I feel the urge to check my phone at work, then I will drink a glass of water instead. Pre-planned responses will beat in-the-moment willpower every single time. Ultimately, we can lean on a really powerful psychological concept, memento mori, remembering our finite mortality. Now, I know that sounds super morbid, but stick with me. Psychological research into mortality salience actually shows that consciously accepting our finite time gives us a massive surge of motivation. It shakes us right out of autopilot. It inspires us to live in true alignment with our values, reminding us that time isn't just a clock ticking in the background. It is literally the currency of our existence. I want to leave you with the ultimate metric. Philosophers call it the deathbed test. As you finish up this explainer, I want you to imagine looking back at this exact moment from the very end of your life. Ask yourself if your future self would be satisfied with how you spent this past hour. Look, you cannot recover the time you've already lost, so just drop the guilt right now. But you can completely control the next hour. The only real question is, what are you going to do with it?